Hey folks, this is Donnie. Uh, get down, puppy. Come, come, come here, puppy. Get over here. Get off that table. Sorry, hey tramp, everybody. I don't know where to even begin. I see you. You're a good girl. I wanted to let all of you know what was going on. It's not that I backed away from doing videos. Okay, here, hop down. You're a good girl. Oh, hop down. Get down. Good girl. I see you, buddy. We've been extremely busy. This has been the hardest year that I've been through. If it could come against me, it has. We've had a train wreck of things happen, and I'll give you an idea. Just what happened the last 2 weeks. I'm not going to go back any further because it's been a ton of stuff. We had our power. We were out of power for a couple of days. My truck broke down. Kim's car broke down. It's been a mess. When Kim got that car, she traded the boat that we had gotten from Brother Chris, and we couldn't afford to fix the boat. We couldn't afford to use the boat. It was a big boat, big motor, and gas is very expensive. And it's hard for people like us. We barely make it. But anyhow, Kim had traded the boat for a car. I didn't know about it until after the fact, and I didn't even know what she traded it for until the guy finally delivered it, and he had to finish putting it together. Come to find out, the car's been wrecked. But ever since we got it, turn the key to crank it, and it sputters and misses and acts up for a minute, and then it clears up. But every time you start it, it acted up. A couple weeks ago, Kim poked a little hole in her hand and wanted to go get stitches, so took her to the hospital. The car started acting up where it wouldn't start 2 days before the day I took her to the hospital. We get at the hospital. She's going through the checkout process, so I started the car, or attempted to, wouldn't start. Acted like a dead battery. Finally got it to start, got it home. Next day, wouldn't start at all. It was like the battery was completely dead. So I put the charger on it for 24 hours. It never would charge enough to actually start. So a friend of ours came. I took the battery out. He took it to one of the parts houses, got another battery, brought it back, put it in, car wouldn't start. Acted like a dead battery. So I charged that one up. 6 or 7 hours, still made no difference. Called the mechanic guy who helped us with the car when the vacuum pump went out, and he said, "Oh, it's probably head gasket." I told him, "Well, I've been checking the oil, and there's no water in the oil." So he came over. He got out of his truck, and he said, "It's most likely a head gasket." He sat in the car, turned the key, and it clicked like it was trying to turn the motor over, but it just wouldn't turn it over. He said, "You probably got water in one of the cylinders. Is probably the number 3 or number 4 cylinder." So we opened the hood. He pulls the dipstick. He said, "Yep, there's water in the oil," and it looked clear to me. I couldn't see the water. Then he pulled the fill cap where you add the oil to the engine, and the bottom side of it looked like foamy chocolate milk. He said, "That's water. You got a blown head gasket, I guarantee it." So he pulled the spark plugs, and what he explained to me is the water builds up in one of the spark plugs from the hole in the head gasket, it'll leak into it because we're losing a lot of water, probably a quart every 2 days. And he said that's why it runs rough when it starts. You got water in the cylinder, it's got to burn it out before it starts running good. So he pulled the spark plugs, he turned the key over, and it shot. It must have been a gallon and a half of water came out of the spark plug hole. It hit the hood of the car. I thought it knocked a hole through it. It hit it so hard, and it scared me. I was not expecting it. He said, yep, number 3 cylinder. So he said, I'm going to go and pick up a chemical. It's in a lime green, a bright green plastic bottle from Tractor Supply for blown head gaskets. He said, I've used it before. I put it in a truck that had a cracked head, and I drove the truck several years, and it never leaked a drop, never had an issue. The truck's still running, but one of his friends has it now, and they never changed the head gasket, and it's still going. And so he left, he come back, he brought a bottle of that stuff. We drained the water out of the reservoir. Sorry about that. Gracie will have a dream of a cat or something. I don't know what she dreams. And she'll bark in her sleep, and she'll wake up and start barking. She's the deaf one. Anyhow, we drained the water from the reservoir. He mixed that chemical in some very warm water, put it in the reservoir. We let the car warm up. It fired right up. And we drove it, or he drove it. We went 3 or 4 miles, turned around, came back, parked it, and he said, now you got to let it sit here. It's got to cool off completely. Let it sit for 24 hours before you drive it, before you start it. So we let it sit, checked the water. Water did not go down, which is the first. And after 24 hours, we fired it up, and it started right up. No stuttering until now. It's still not stuttering. It fires right up and drives the way it's supposed to. I've still got to change the oil in the filter in it because of the water. I just can't afford it right now. Well, outside of that, we lost our electricity. And we got it on now, but we had no power. Worked a hay field 2 days out in the middle of the sun. It was over 100 degrees, no shade, pitching hay with a pitchfork. I had fertilizer on me, insecticide, dirt, bugs, and just itching all over. Ate up, just covered with crap. Kim and Rosie went over to a friend of ours, one of our farmer friends, and they showered over there and ate dinner. We didn't have any water because we're on a well here. We had no power. And so I literally bathed in the water in the toilet tank. The part of the toilet, when you sit on the pot, the part that your back's against, that tank, it's clean water. It's not sewage water, but that's the only water I had access to, and I had to get them chemicals off of me. And that's how I bathed. You do what you got to when you're in a bad situation. But I ended up, I hooked our generator up. I cut my best extension cord because I needed something. I needed a 10 gauge wire. And I cut it. I disconnected the well from the power line because we had no electricity. It wasn't going to shock me. And I wired the extension cord into the pressure switch, and then I plugged it in our generator, and I fired the generator up. It had maybe 2 gallons of gas in it, but that gas was from 2018. That's what we put in it during Hurricane Michael, and we haven't used it since. So I had to leave. I went down to the store, got a couple of gallons of fresh gas, came back. On the way back, looking toward the house, I could see it was black. It was rain, a lot of rain. I called Kim and asked her if it was raining. She said no, and I told her, I said, it's coming. It's either in front of the house or behind the house, but I'm looking at a black wall. And I asked her, I said, please go out to my truck and roll the windows up. The keys are in it. They're in the ignition. You just have to turn the key forward for the windows to work. I got home, she rolled the windows up, and it stormed for a while. It finally stopped, got the generator fired up. We had water, we had to take cold baths, which was horrible because our well water is very cold. And go out the next day to let the windows down, and when I opened the door, there's no light, there's no beeping when I put the key in the ignition. But when I opened it, I knew the keys were still in the truck because that's where I left them. The keys are in the ignition. Kim never turned the ignition off. The battery was dead. There wasn't a light, there was nothing. Well, my security system's bad in the truck. That module's $300 and something, and I can't do it. I can't replace it. So if the security system disengages, or if it kicks on, the truck it'll fire up and it'll shut off in 2 seconds. And you have a process you can go through to relearn it, where you crank it, let it shut off, and you leave the key on for 10 minutes. You shut the key off for 10 seconds. You crank it again, let it die, let it sit 10 minutes, shut it off for 10 seconds. You do that 3 times. And if the security system's working, it'll relearn the module and it'll start functioning. Well, mine is faulty. It doesn't work right at all. If it's humid outside, the truck will not crank. The security system will engage. If it's raining, security system will engage. If it's really cold, it'll engage. And so what we had to do, when you get the truck running, you can pull the fuse out for the security system. You can't do it unless it's running. And once it's running, you unplug it, and you ain't got no problems unless you disconnect the battery or you run the battery dead. We had it disconnected. Kim run the battery dead, so I put the fuse in it. It was not working. 3 days of trying to get it to start, would not start, had the charger on it, keep the battery topped off, and you have to call a mechanic, and they got this laptop computer thing. It's several $1,000 machine. They plug it into your truck, they turn the key on, they go into the parameters of the computer and the security module, and they reset all of them parameters, and it tricks the computer into thinking the security system is disengaged, and it'll allow the truck to crank. We don't have access to that. I had a guy do it before, the guy who we got the car from, but he's I'm not even going to go off on that side of things, but anyway, we can't use him. And I don't know anyone else has one of the computers, so we come up day before yesterday, finally got it. I went up, turned the key, and it started like it normally does. But normally when I start, I'll turn the key forward, I let the fuel system pressure up, and then I'll crank it. And this time I knew it wasn't going to crank, so I just got in and turned the key. It fired up, and it sounded like a lawnmower motor, and it shut off. And I thought, what in the heck was that? And I turned it again, it fired right up, and it sputtered and messed around a little bit, and then it started idling smooth, and the light went off. I'm sorry about the vibration, I'm getting a call again. The security light went off, it was running. So I pulled the fuse panel, I snatched that fuse out, so it's running now, it's working. So we were out of the truck for a few days, out of the car for a few days, electricity for a few days, and it's been a train wreck, but we've been extremely busy. I have not filmed in 2 weeks, or over 2 weeks. I have not had time. I've been going from first thing in the morning until well past dark, and I've just run myself ragged, and mentally it's about to break me down. I am just mentally, it is wearing me out. But I got invited, Brother Jeff Townsend invited me to go up to a meet and greet for, I don't want to get it wrong, I think it's Mark and Becca Green. I think it's called Creek Bottoms Farmstead or something like that. Creek Bottoms Farm Homestead, I think is the name of their channel. They're doing a meet and greet. They had one last year. They're doing it October 4th, 5th, and 6th at Talladega at Hollins Hunter Camp. And Jeff invited me to go up there. He's going to cover everything so I can go. Rosie's going to go with me. Me and her are going to take the motorbike. It's about 4.5 hours from here if we don't lollygag, if we go straight up there. Mark's going to allow me to park my bike in his shop so we can lock it up and it's out of the weather while I'm there. There's supposed to be a lot of people going. I don't know everyone that's going. Jeff mentioned a bunch of names, but I just don't know the people. I don't know them by name. I don't know who they are. But I'll be going up there, so if any of you are going to be up there, hopefully I'll get to see you and meet you in the flesh. That would be amazing. But we had a few things. Everything's been just coming against me in just multitudes. Everything's stacked against me. And things are slowly turning around. We got a Broadhead company I bought Broadheads from in 2021. They're very expensive. Not super expensive, but they're expensive. I bought 5 Broadheads, and when I got them, I shot one into the target so that I could sight my crossbow in, and the very first one broke when it hit the foam target. It broke the blades off. With the blades locked in position, it broke them. To where they're locked, so when they hit the target, they will not open. It's a mechanical broadhead. They're designed to stay closed until they hit your target. Unless you put a set screw in them, they won't open at all. It's to keep your blades nice and sharp, and so you sight your crossbow in with the exact broadhead that you're going to use in hunting season, so you're extremely accurate with them. And anyway, I shot the first one. It broke. First shot. Shot the second one. It broke. First shot. Shot a third one, and it bent the entire broadhead. The shaft of the broadhead bent. I never contacted the company. I never reached out to them. A lot of them require that you ship the broken broadheads back to them, and they'll send you a replacement. Magnus Broadheads requires that you take a picture of them, and then you send that to them, and then you wait, and I just didn't have time. Season was a day or two away. I just used my old broadheads because I didn't have enough to hunt with when I broke 3 of them. I used my old broadheads. We sharpened them, and I used them. Well, a few nights ago, Thursday night, I was in the bath, and I had my tablet, and trying to find, I want to find a good broadhead, but I want a mechanical broadhead. And I thought about the ones that I had that broke. They are really good broadheads, hundreds and thousands of videos on them that are giving them super high ratings. They're shooting elk, grizzly bear, Cape buffalo. They're shooting these huge animals with them. They're not breaking. And I don't know if it's something I did, so I emailed the company. And I told them, I explained what happened, and I said, I'm not asking for replacements. That's why I am not including any pictures of the damaged broadheads, because I'm not looking to replace them. It may have been something that I did that broke them. I don't know. But what I do want from you is if you could tell me if y'all make a broadhead that'll handle the speeds of a crossbow. And I told them the one that I had that won't break. And if not, can you recommend a company and a model broadhead for me? And I sent her, it was a real nice email. I did not knock the company in any way. I was very truthful. The following morning, I got up and I had a response from him. It was an order number. And he emailed me back and said, failure is not something they want to hear. They strive to create an amazing product, which they do. And they strive to make sure hunters have dependable, quality broadheads. And he replaced my broadheads and sent me extra blades so that I could hunt. Didn't ask for anything from me. And I wrote him back. I thanked him, and I let him know I was not looking for that. I was not asking for anything from you. I don't want a refund. I don't want replacements, because it could have been something on I may have made an error and damaged them. I don't think I did, but there's always a possibility. And they went out of the way to really stand behind their product and to make sure in the end I was happy being the customer. Now, when I originally bought them Broadheads, you set up an account with them. It's free, but you do that in case you have to like file a warranty or something on them. They can pull up your file and have your invoice number, what you purchased, the date you purchased it. And I told him it was just a couple of years ago. And so he went out of the way to hook me up. And so I went to their website and I signed in, and I found the old order number when I bought them from them. And it was not a couple of years ago. It was in 2021, May of 2021. And they went out of the way to make sure that I could hunt. And I'd explained to him, I said, I get one check a month. And when I get my check, I'll be able to get one set of broadheads, and that's it. If I break them, sighting them in, I got to wait till the following month to get a replacement set, which means I won't be able to hunt because archery will be closed by the time the next check comes. And I just want to make sure I get a good quality broadhead. That's why I was looking for his input, his recommendations of what I could get. And man, he went out of the way to make sure I could hunt and to cover their bases if it was a faulty product. I don't think it was, but there's always a chance of that too. And just, I can't say enough about them. And I am going to stick with this company. I'm going to do what I can to promote their product during hunting season. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure people understand the quality of not only their product, but their customer service is absolutely 100% top shelf. There's no company out there that I've personally ever dealt with that are at the levels of this company. The name of this company is Sevr, S-E-V-R, Sevr Broadheads. They make an amazing broadhead. I may have just gotten a faulty bunch, or I may have done something wrong that damaged them. Either way, they were exceptionally kind and generous to do what they done to get me on my feet. Now, they were able to go back and verify that I did buy them. I told them which model I bought, and when you pull it up in my old invoice on their website, it does show that model. But the only thing that was strange is I bought 5, and I told them I bought 5. On the website, it shows I bought 4, and I've still got all 5 of them. One is shootable. The other one, when I was messing around with it, trying to figure out how they work in the beginning, I broke, or I bent the lock on them that locks the blades open, so the blades, they won't close and stay in right. And so I can't use it unless I replace the blades on it. And the other 3 are bent. So I do have 5. I did buy them. You can't buy them from a store. These you have to order from Sevr. And so I don't know why their invoice shows that I only purchased 4. But anyway, they hooked me up. They gave me 4 replacements and new blades to replace the product that I did buy from them. And man, I can't say enough about them. An amazing company. So for your archery hunters, if you're looking to try out a broadhead, or you're looking for an amazingly accurate broadhead, and they do make titanium models as well. And as you know, titanium is very strong, very durable metal. 2 of them that I'm getting are titanium. I would highly recommend you check out Sever. My channel's not monetized. I do not profit in any way from any company that I do reviews on. And I will absolutely be doing a review for Sever this hunting season. And my goal is to, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do it. You guys that have been with me for a while know that I do not show the wound on the animal. When I harvest a deer or a pig, I don't show where the projectile entered the body, because in my mind it's disrespectful, it's distasteful, and I don't want to do that to the animal. But for archers, it is important to know what type of cut a broadhead is capable of, so that you know you don't want a broadhead that's going to leave a little tiny cut in an animal and he's going to suffer before he dies. You don't want to use that. You need something that's going to be a large cut, so it's an ethical kill where the animal doesn't suffer. And so I may end up showing the entrance hole when I get a deer, but the only way, if I do it, the only way I'm going to do it, and I'm only going to do it one time, you'll never see it again on any other videos of mine, but if I do it, I always have water bottles with me when I'm hunting. I drink a lot of water. I got a water bottle right here. I love water. Then I'm going to clean the animal up, clean the wound up to where there's no blood on him. And especially on a deer, when a broadhead hits, the blades cut the skin. You'll have a cut normally about like that. And then it cuts through the tissue and it'll pass through the animal. If you grab the skin, if you pull it, the cut will open up to where you can see into it. But if you pull the skin and then push to the side where the hole is going through his tissue, the hole in the skin will slide over, so you're not looking into the tissue of the animal. It looks like the outside of a ham. When you buy a ham at the store, it looks like you got fur with an opening and then a ham laid under it is what it looks like. It's not gross. It's not, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's not nasty. It's not gore. So I may end up showing the wound that way, sliding it over where you're not looking into the animal, so it's not disrespecting the animal. And I'll put a quarter or something up there to where our archers that are looking for a broadhead and they need to know, how big the cut is that them particular ones make, they'll have a good idea. If I put a US quarter, most people know how big they are, and it should give them an idea of the cut. Now, if I cannot do it without having blood in the footage or seeing into the cavity of the animal, into his body, then I'm not going to show it, period. I'm not going to do anything to disrespect these animals. The same God that created us created them, and he didn't create them so that we could use them to see how much damage we could do to their bodies. They were here for our pleasure, for his pleasure, and also as a food source for us. But there's a way of doing things proper and a way of doing things improper, and I don't want to do it wrong to where I've got that on my conscience that I disrespected an animal that I harvested. But anyway, I may or may not film, or I may or may not show that on film, depending on if I can clean it up to the point to where it doesn't look like what it is. But anyhow, I'm blabbing, you guys. I'm tired. I thought today I would be able to maybe walk around a little bit this afternoon when it cools off, go out in the woods a little bit and film. There's been a lot of weird stuff happening in the skies overhead and in the property back behind me, out that window, way back, those trees way back there in the back, like off in those trees. And I was hoping to get out there this afternoon before it gets dark and walk around a little bit. But I got a phone call about 30 minutes ago, and one of the farmers, our friends out here, I got to go over there. Kim and I got to be over there this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and so I won't be back home till after dark. It's going to be another long day, but y'all have an amazing day. I just want to reach out and let you know that channel's still up. We're still going. I just haven't been able to film. I apologize. I hope everyone's doing well. If any of you are going to be at that meet and greet, let me see if, I want to make sure I got the channel name right. Oh, I got it up right now. It is Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead Life. Let me see. Is it? Oh, it's backwards. Doggone it. I don't know why. I'm filming on my tablet. I got my camera over there, but it's charging. But it's Mark and Rebecca Green, and they'll be doing it. That meet and greet. There's supposed to be a lot of people there, but that is happening October, I believe it's the 4th through the 6th. Jeff wants me to come up there on the 3rd, so it may be the 3rd through the 6th. I'm not sure. You'd probably have to reach out to Mark or Rebecca on that. And again, if you're not familiar with their YouTube channel, it is Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead. And I am subscribed. When I found out about their channel this past week, when Jeff was telling me about it, I did subscribe to their YouTube channel so that I could be up to date if they post anything in regards to that event. But if you do end up going, shoot me an email and let me know. I'd like to see who's going up there. Rosie and I will be up there. Kim won't be able to make it because of the animals. We can't leave them unattended. But Rosie and I will be there. And hopefully we'll get to meet some of you guys and gals. But y'all have an amazing day. I love you all. God bless you. Be kind and be safe. And if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate. Shoot me an email at standinggoatsrescue@yahoo.com. Now, I am 4 days behind on them, or 5 days behind. I will get caught up. Normally, I don't go this far behind, but it's been chaos. Everything's just been in chaos around here. Everything you can imagine has come against me, and I am struggling to keep it together emotionally and mentally. It's been a rough ride, but I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.